Hello, and welcome to HAZMAT, the only show that is about to debut its own superhero, Captain HAZMAT.
That'll never catch on. Don't like
No,
it.
no, I think it'll do
Captain
quite well.
has been. Now we're talking.
Now we're
We're
talking.
talking.
I'm Matt,
And I'm Harry.
and today we're reviewing the Marvels.
The what?
Every single one of them.
All of
We're
them.
doing all of the Marvels
my God.
right now today.
No, thankfully there are only 3 of them.
There are only 3 of them. It's essentially Captain Marvel 2. Honestly, we like this. There's been a lot of hate for the Marvels I've seen online.
A lot of it probably before watching it.
Yeah, to be
I
honest,
think.
I mean, let's be honest. It's a film with 3 women leads. A lot of people are going to be getting online fucking trashing it immediately.
They always try and justify it and say like, "Oh, we like movies with strong women leads. We just don't like bad writing." It's like, no, come on.
I thought it was just fun, man. We liked that it was a step away from the whole multiverse thing that's been going on in every other Marvel thing right now. That's in my opinion, getting pretty convoluted. It was kind of nice to have. Despite the fact it was about a tear in the universe or whatever, it still felt on a smaller scale than anything else that's been going on right now.
Yeah, they kind of went back to basics in that it was a simple hero versus villain story. It was very refreshing, like you said. It was because I think the multiverse stuff, it gives you access to some cool concepts that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. But at the same time, especially as compared to the initial the Infinity Saga, those first 3 phases, they just don't seem to have a clear roadmap with where it's all going with this new stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Especially with something as huge as the multiverse. It's that could be anything.
And I mean, it's a concept that can very easily get confusing, and I think they've gone about it in the wrong way by kind of introducing it in several different ways. Loki introduced it, and then No Way Home introduced it, and then Doctor Strange introduced it, and it's all felt like the rules have been different every time, and everyone's in a different timeline now, and it's in the Infinity Saga, you sort of knew where everyone was, and it felt like a cohesive whole. I mean, I know for quite a lot of that they were making things up to a certain point as they went along, but it's the end product felt more planned, whereas now I feel like if you watch these back, you're going to be they had no idea what they were doing when they were bringing all this up.
Because the whole kind of point of doing multiverse stuff should be for kind of creating stuff more like the Marvels, in that it can just be isolated stories, which these movies should be more the concept of what if. It's you can just tell these stories of what if this happened, or what if this was different, and they can be their own isolated things, whereas they've gotten to a point where it's kind of their brand where everything has to be interconnected. But when you've got stuff we've been watching Loki season 2, we pointed out how it's a branching timeline from a branching timeline.
Yeah.
So you get stuff going so far off the main continuity, and then trying to tie it all back together is...
Yeah, you're just kind of where are they right now, and in relation to everything else. Maybe to a certain extent it doesn't matter if they were doing more standalone stuff, but it's the MCU has always been heralded as such an interconnected universe, and that's kind of the whole point, is you see them in each other's films and it builds up to team ups. But it seems it's not as satisfying when that happens anymore. It made sense to have most of the Avengers have a separate film. Oh, then they all team up in a film together. Whereas now, I don't know, it just feels just pointless. And now the multiverse can just kind of do anything. Anyone can just be anywhere. Who gives a fuck?
I think that's kind of why I like the Marvel, is because you could see there was a clear intention to it, in that kind of the goal of it was to introduce characters from the Disney Plus series into the main film continuity, and it does a good job of that. You get Miss Marvel in there, and then you get
Captain Rambo.
Yeah, Captain Rambo from WandaVision.
She was in.
So it's this idea of they're doing an Avengers thing, in that you've got all these separate things and they're bringing it in, but it's it's almost as if the Disney Plus stuff and the stuff released in cinema are kind of 2 different existences, and now we have to tie them together.
It feels like that sometimes. It does feel like the Disney stuff is on the sidelines.
I know a lot of people kind of don't like this sort of next generation, a lot of characters coming in. A lot of it is kind of the similar crowd, the usual suspects. But I think Kamala Khan is probably one of my favorite new introduction, because she has a clear character type.
Yeah, she's got that humor to her.
She's a fangirl as well.
Yeah.
We've established how a lot of the Avengers are kind of celebrity figures, and she's super like fangirling over Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she seems more down to earth and normal than a lot of the other ones.
Like, not everyone can be like kind of the dry, quipping, suave hero type.
She's a bit of a breath of fresh air in a phase that was a lot of new bland characters. Yeah.
We kind of joke coming out of it how like they've gotten to the point where Marvel is a lot like The Simpsons, and that like, what haven't they done? Like, what haven't they covered yet? And they do like a whole like musical sequence in this movie. Like, who was expecting that going into a superhero movie? Like, it just takes a break in the middle to do like a musical number.
Yeah, because this is the thing, is I had to go to the toilet when that was introduced, and I came back to everyone just singing.
Everyone's just singing.
Like, I was like, what's going on here?
What? I think that was kind of like the way to do it creatively, in that like Captain Marvel is like a cosmic hero. So she has the same benefit of like the Guardians, in that they can do all these different planets where Everett has like a different distinct culture, and that's how you kind of veer away from the multiverse stuff, is like all of this stuff just exists in the regular universe and it's all like different and interesting. Like, you don't have to do crazy like time jumping, dimension skipping stuff.
There's stuff going on here that we can focus on as well. You know, there's still plenty to explore without going through several branching timelines and ending up God knows where. Captain Marvel is a character. A lot of people think she's a bit wooden, a bit stiff, a bit emotionless. It's obviously nothing to do with Brie Larson's acting.
No.
And I think it's cool that she's a bit awkward, because she was a human, but then she got this power thing, and now she's kind of just been up in a spaceship. It's implied that she's been on her own in this spaceship for a while with Goose the cat. And it makes sense that she's a bit awkward and a bit odd.
Yeah, because kind of the whole thing with her character is she doesn't know what her identity is supposed to be. Like you said, she forgot about the fact that she was just a human, and then she was living with like among the Kree Empire for a long time. And like her memories had been erased, and then she got them back, and she's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be anymore.
I think people want her to be like a girl boss kind of character, and I think they just see that as being strong, snappy, maybe a bit sarcastic. Whereas I think like she's just playing the character a bit differently. It's still a strong female character, but it's just, that doesn't mean it has to be like loud and proud, you know?
No, she was like, I think she was a lot more fun in this, and I think it's just the character works better when she's got others to play off.
Yeah, see, that was a big part of it, was the chemistry between the three.
It carries the whole thing, and that like they can kind of just bounce off each other.
The scenes I enjoyed the most was like the training sequences and the scenes where they were in the ship. That's what I enjoyed the most, was just
hanging out,
bantering back and forward, you know? It's like with a lot of the Marvel stuff, a lot of the action scenes I could take or leave. It's, you know, a lot of flashing CGI and stuff, and it's like, okay, cool, whatever. But that's the stuff I like, is the emotion of the storyline and the characters interacting with each other. When you can tell it's three actors in a room acting with each other. I think at this point in Marvel, that's such a novelty. Some of them you watch and you're like, these people have never met. They're on a soundstage, a green screen somewhere. They recorded all their stuff
separately, and they just like copied and pasted them into each other's scenes.
Yeah. So it's such a treat where you can see that you can tell they're all in a room together, like actually bouncing off each other. It just makes such a difference.
This story is very much just good versus evil. There's not like a huge amount of depth to it, but it's serviceable. It's what it needs to be. So the only real kind of spoilerish territory I guess you can get into is more to do with like the end and the like post credits.
Yeah, I guess we can go into post credit stuff, because that seemed pretty important. The thing with the villain sort of seemed a bit secondary in a way. I thought it was more about their team up and how they deal with like meeting each other and adapting to each other's powers and things.
Yeah, when you put like a villain who's got like a big hammer like that as your villain in a movie, a team of heroes, they're probably not going to feel that important. It's a copy and paste of the bad guy from the first Guardians.
Big hammer.
But not blue.
Well, I know you got confused because you saw the big hammer and you were like, Thor's back!
So the
Thor's
big hammer
back.
is like, is this girl Thor? Is this girl Thor? It wasn't like a post-credit, it was just like the actual ending. It wasn't
the other one was mid-credit.
The other one was mid-credits, but it was a bit at the end, and that seemed like the most important part of like what they wanted to establish with this film.
Yeah.
We get Kamala Khan taking her own initiative, and it's kind of like it's a beat for beat kind of remake of the original post credits from Iron Man. And so it's nice for like people who know the comics and the character and stuff that will know going in that now they're kind of establishing a young Avengers team.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll go through with it, because it seems like at the moment they've got a bit of a history of trying to establish stuff and never quite getting there.
Not getting it. That was nice because like I said, Kate Bishop and Kamala Khan have been like two of my favorite new characters introduced like with this stuff. I love the Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye has been my favorite Disney Plus series so far.
Right, okay.
And I'm glad that like Miss Marvel will be able to like have more stuff going forward.
Yeah, more of a presence. I think
she's great character, and I want to see more stuff involving her. As much as we've kind of like harped on and almost slated the multiverse. Oh, like the mid credits was so like was a nice like little touch, and a guy that I really like coming back.
Yeah, it's sort of weird that they actually did it. That's Beast.
People know that's Beast. That's Kelsey Grammer.
That's Frasier.
That's Blue Frasier. That's the Blue Frasier variant, which is where we get into like the weird territory of like it's a cool like throwback to the original X-Men movies. The fact that it's Kelsey Grammer. Like,
but
where do
that
we
mean
go
it's
from
that
here?
Universe specifically, or is it another
that
one?
universe, or is it another one?
Where he's also played by Kelsey Grammer.
He's also Kelsey Grammer,
and
like,
is it the same? He mentioned Charles. Is it the same Charles that gets killed in
no
Multiverse, or is that going to be another?
It wouldn't be that one because that was one where she also died. Maria Rambeau was also Captain Marvel in that.
Of course.
She dies in that. Yeah. But like, it's the weird thing of like, because it's Kelsey Grammer, is that going to be your Beast going forward, or is it just like a tease of a different universe, or like once you? Because they still, now that they've got the X-Men, they're very slowly kind of teasing that whole world. But like, once they introduce the X-Men into the universe proper, like, is Kelsey Grammer going to be your Beast, or is it going to be someone else?
I did see a headline saying, I don't know what interview it was from, saying he wants to do Beast again, or wants to do more Beast in whatever capacity that comes in.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair that like Kelsey Grammer like got to do Beast in like the one of the worst X-Men movies. I wonder like how many people went there, and like it would have had more of an impact if it had been Nicholas Hoult instead.
Oh yeah, true. Or just someone completely random. The Rock.
Come on, Beast is like, I don't think Rock can play like a smart guy.
But he's just him. He's just painted blue.
He's just blue.
He's still bald and
he's
everything.
Got sideburns. He hasn't got like any hair on his head, but he's got
just
big chunky sideburns.
Guess we'll get to our ranking. We've got a new ranking system that we're going to be introducing.
We're trying out. Yeah. So I'd say the Marvel's pretty good, pretty solid. I'd definitely say I think it falls somewhere between Nacho Libre and King Kong. Like, it's definitely better than Nacho Libre. I'd probably go and watch it again before that. I wouldn't say it's like fully better than King Kong, but like definitely certain aspects of it. The character work for sure is better than King Kong, because that's just full of kind of like throwaway characters that you don't really care about what happens to them.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like almost all like carried by the character work in it.
Yeah.
Well, villain wise, you can't really compare. There isn't really a villain in King Kong.
King Kong, big monkey.
Well, no, he was just like big
evil monkey.
He was just an animal. He wasn't evil. He was just an animal. That
he's
was in
smarter
his nature.
than he lets on. He's smarter than he lets on.
No, he's not.
He's an evil genius.
Big, dumb.
It all went according to plan.
He's a big, dumb, balding North American like type ape. He's a Quidgibo.
Very rude. I'm gonna slap it right around Yes Man. Again, really fun movie to watch. I don't think it's gonna be looked back on as like one of the best of the bunch. Sort of fun while you're watching it, but it's never gonna be in like my top 5 Marvel films or anything like that. Just a great time, great performances by everyone involved, a nice, good, happy time.
Yeah,
for a bit.
And that's the kind of response you want. It's like, hey, do you want to watch the Marvels? Yes, man.
Yes, man.
That's why it works.
Yes, woman.
Well, it would depend on who you're watching with, I guess.
I'm watching it with Brie Larson in this scenario.
In this scenario, then yes, it'd be yes, woman.
Yeah.
Yes, miss.
I've invited her to my house.
Yes, mommy. Sorry, mommy.
And I said, Brie Larson, mommy. I'm gonna put on the. Sorry, I meant to just say Brie Larson there. I'm gonna put on the Marvels, mummy. Sorry, I mean Brie. Sorry, mummy. I mean.
Sorry, I mean Miss Larson.
I mean Miss Larson, Brie. Sorry. Yes.
Man.
One last thing I want to say is I think Nick Fury is my favorite MCU character. Whenever Samuel L. Jackson turns up, it just feels like old Marvel again, and I just love it.
He's the best. He's got a good combination of like the nostalgia factor of him being like one of the OGs, and like he's definitely like developed a lot. They've let him let him kind of loose with these newer movies and just like go and do your thing.
Just do your thing, man. I think coming out of that, I think he's my favorite Marvel character. Never mind all the superheroes. I don't know. He's the glue that holds it all together, man. I was scared that they were getting rid of him in Secret Invasion, but I'm glad he's still around.
Still around, kicking.
Thank you for watching HAZMAT reviewing The Marvels.
If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see us do more stuff like this in the future, then you can support the channel by leaving a like or a comment. You can hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted to our more recent uploads. And as always, all of our socials will be listed down in the description.
And join us next time where we sing the entire episode.
And we're gonna do a little, maybe get a third person and do a little team up.
Oh yeah, but we all keep swapping seats.
Keep swapping seats.
Oh,
We're not
what a
not like a teleport thing. We're just going to get
We're just going to get up and swap seats. And
it's going to be very awkward. It'll be like, oh, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, excuse me,
sorry.
sorry. Just, I think this is my, oh, sorry.